Hello folks, how you all doing? Lloyd here, Mr. Hats. Thought I'd do a sort of a rankings video, but not quite. Initially I was going to compile 100 albums and make a top 100 albums of all time list, but I decided against that. It was too hard culling albums, but I did realise that there is a list of around 15, 20 that are steadfast every time I do a list, so I just thought I would show those, but I've actually got 21 here. So you can call it my top 20 albums of all time, you can call it Desert Island Discs, or albums I can't live without listening for the rest of my life, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to rank them in any sort of order, I'm just going to show them in what their release date was. So we start off in 1960, His Hand in Mine, Elvis Presley. Big fan of Elvis, and when he's singing gospel, you just feel it. You feel the vibe of the spirituality, even if you're not spiritual or religious in any way. You feel it through these songs. So there's that one to start with. Next up, Motown singer, wasn't overly popular back in the day. Mary Wells with her album My Guy. I believe she only released one studio album, she might have released two, but fabulous singer nonetheless. Two Lovers, You Beat Me to the Punch, The One Who Really Loves You, and My Guy were the big hits. But yeah, just great artist. Never achieved what she probably should have. Next up we got the end of 67, I believe this was 1967. Released as a double EP in the UK, released as a studio album worldwide with additional tracks of A-sides and B-sides that weren't on albums, just to fill it out, to extend it to an album. This one, no explanation needed here. We all know this album, Magical Mystery Tour of the Beatles. Next up we go to the brilliant Zombies with Odyssey and Oracle. Easily would be a top 10 album for me if I could rank these. I guess they all could be, but great album. Has the hit Time of the Season on here. It's not even in the top 10 best songs on this album. It's just a masterpiece of an album. Has to be listened to from beginning to end in that order. Didn't chart back in the day, which is really strange, but it's an absolute classic album in my opinion. 1968, this album is my #1 album of all time, without a shadow of a doubt, by my favourite band of all time. Ugden's Nut Gone Flake by the Small Faces. Yeah, a lot of people don't like this because of the Stanley Unwin gobbledygook on one side of this album. But me, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Afterglow, Renee, Song of a Baker, Lazy Sunday. Yeah, just an absolute masterpiece of an album. Again, another one you have to listen to from start to finish. Next one in chronological order, John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band. Masterpiece of an album, his Primal Scream album. It's just so different to anything else not only he released, but I think anything else I've ever heard in the rock era. By far the greatest solo album by a Beatle in my opinion. 1970, Sixto Rodriguez with his debut album Cold Fact. Only released 2 albums. You could call him a poet, a observer of suburban life, and he's got such a mellow, groovy, funky vibe to all these songs. It's absolutely brilliant. The guy really should have been huge, but never made it. But at least we can say here in Australia, he was huge in Australia in the 1970s with airplay. He still gets airplay now, and South Africa as well. Never really got any success until the Searching for Sugar Man album documentary came out, probably about a decade or so ago, 15 years ago. But yeah, great album, well worth a listen if you don't know what it is. He has another album called Coming From Reality, or Coming to Reality, I can't remember what it is. Not quite as good as this one, but certainly brilliant. Mid-1970s now, Willie Nelson, Red-Headed Stranger, his masterpiece of an album. Probably the greatest country album ever made, in my opinion. And yeah, just perfect album. Almost 1975. Willie Nelson. Next up, 1977. Don't need to say anything about this album. We all know this album. Sex Pistols, Nevermind the Bollocks. Another punk album that was released the same year, which is just as good from beginning to end. The Clash's debut album, absolute masterpiece in my opinion. Some people don't like things like Garage Land or even 48 Hours, Police and Thieves, but I think they're all brilliant. It's a perfect album. Zip forward another year and a half, 2 years. We go to the Specials with their debut album. Pretty hard to surpass this in the genre for sure. Just a masterclass of songwriting. A lot of the songs are about urban decay, etc. But just a great upbeat, danceable, foot tapping, toe tapping album. 1979, we go to the only artist who has 2 albums in this list, by the way, or 2. No, there's another artist, but under 2 different bands. But yeah, David Bowie, Lodger, absolutely loved this. Pretty much world music. Yeah, it was just absolutely magnificent. Some people don't like Red Sail, some people don't like Repetition, but I think it's a perfect album, just about. It was the 3rd of the so-called Berlin trilogy, and it's absolutely brilliant in my opinion. That was 1979. We've got 1980 now. The Jam, Sound Effects, just pop perfection in my opinion. Very stripped back album compared to what they'd done before. To think Paul Weller was only 22 when he released this is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Man in the Corner Shop, one of the greatest songs ever written. That's entertainment. Most artists would be glad just to have those 2 in an entire career. He's got them both on one album. Sheer brilliance. 1980, we have David Bowie once again, Scary Monsters, Super Creeps. Brilliant. It contains some hit, Ashes to Ashes, and of course Fashion. Brilliant. This is his new wave, post-new wave album. Yeah, love this from beginning to end. We're going to stick in 1980 now. We're going to go to AC/DC, Back in Black. It's the first album of theirs I purchased. You Shook Me All Night Long was the first single of theirs I ever liked. It was the first one of theirs I ever purchased as well, single, an album. Yeah, brilliant. Been a huge fan ever since. Still don't like the Bon Scott era, which is sacrilege to most people, but yeah, the greatest hard rock album ever made. 1981, Kings of the Wild Frontier, Adam and the Ants. I guess you'd call it pop, pure pop perfection almost. Again, Brent just loved the double drumming, the tribal beats, the tribal sounds of this. Great stuff. (1982) is next, and Dire Straits, Love Over Gold, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Even the album cover's brilliant. 5 tracks on this album. Yeah, what can I say? The 14-minute Telegraph Road is an absolute masterpiece, which almost borders on prog rock, I guess. Private Investigations was the big hit, worldwide hit off this album. And yeah, just absolutely brilliant. Mark Knopfler at his best. We'll go to 1983 now. Well, probably one of the... Yeah, it would have to be the best just pure pop album, Blue Eyed Soul album, pretty much. And I'm going for Colour by Numbers, Culture Club. You just can't go wrong with this album. Karma Chameleon, It's a Miracle, Church of the Poisoned Mind, Miss Me Blind, Victims. That's half the album with top 10 hits in pretty much every country in the world. Absolutely brilliant. Can't go wrong with it. Helen Terry's backing vocals are just simply sublime on this album. 1985 next. Sting's ultimate moment, in my opinion. Dream of the Blue Turtles. It's his first album post splitting up the Police. If you love somebody, set them free. Love is the Seventh Wave. Russians. Fortress Around Your Heart. All big hits. And of course Shadows in the Rain, which was a Police song from memory, which he reworked. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Next up, can't remember when this one was. When's this one released? 1994. This might surprise some people, it might not. Jeff Buckley's one and only album during his lifetime, Grace. Yeah, such a tragedy. I have his follow-up album also, which was sort of unfinished songs that were in the can, basically. Sketches from My Sweetheart the Drunk, which are absolutely brilliant as well. But this one contains quite possibly the greatest version of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. The rest of the album is just as good. Just a shame. Would have been lovely to have seen how far he could have gone. And finally, in my list, we've got, I think this was, what year was this one? 2005, I think. 2005, I can't remember now. I should know, it's bloody Paul Weller, for God's sake. So David Bowie had 2 albums in this list. Paul Weller had one under the Jam and one under his own name, as is now. Contains rock, contains funk, contains soul, contains folk music, acoustic songs, sort of vaudevillian, dance hall type songs. Just absolutely brilliant. This has everything that a good Paul Weller album. It contains all the best elements of his entire career, in my opinion, all on one album. Great stuff. So there you go, folks. Just a quick video without getting into too much detail of my top 20 albums of all time, whether you want to call them, as I said, Desert Island discs or albums I can't live without or whatever. That's up to you. But yeah, that's my list. Feel free to leave your comments in the comments section below, what you think of them. If you think they're rubbish or you don't like any of these albums or whatever. The only album I think really deserved to be in there as well as these was probably Neil Finn's Try Whistling This, his first solo album, but that's never been released on vinyl to this stage. I do have it on compact disc, but at the moment it's sitting in the car and I couldn't be bothered going outside to get it, so that would have been 22 for the list. Anyway guys, as I said, let me know in the comment section below. Till next time, stay safe, take care, all for now, catch you around, and bye folks.